Welcome back, Money Magnets. It's that time of the year again. Black Friday is approaching and Christmas is right around the corner. And I'm sure you've seen the specials starting to pop up already. But as exciting as it all is, we also know it can be a dangerous time for our wallets. This time of year, we feel the pressure to buy more, spend more, and somehow stretch our budgets. But how do we enjoy the festive season without breaking the bank?
Whether it's that urge to score a bargain on Black Friday or wanting to spoil family on Christmas, we are all navigating those festive pressures. Especially here in South Africa, where end-of-year expenses, just like back-to-school costs, extra travel, and even the usual December holiday splurge, can easily leave us in the January zone. It's a delicate balancing act between enjoying the season and not going overboard financially.
You hit the nail on the head, Alex. Today, we'll unpack all of that. How to navigate Black Friday, how to stay smart about Christmas spending, and most importantly, how to set ourselves up for financial success come January. Because let's be real, it's not just about surviving the holidays, it's about continuing to thrive after them.
Let's start with why we tend to overspend during this time of the year. Have you ever noticed how festive music and decorations can put you in the mood of spending? And it's no coincidence. Big retailers know exactly how to trigger our emotions. Whether it's the sparkling lights or Christmas carols, all these cues make us feel warm and generous and in the spirit of giving. The problem is that this emotional state often leads to spending way more than we intended.
Absolutely. In South Africa, especially with our sunny festive season, there is that added pressure of everyone heading to the coast, getting ready for family braais and making the most of the warm weather. We feel like it's a time to go big or go home, right? It's part of our culture to want to celebrate with those closest to us, which is beautiful, but can be financially risky if we're not careful.
And let's not forget about that little thing called FOMO, fear of missing out. Black Friday, for example, plays right into that fear. The deals feel like they're only available for a limited time, and if we don't act immediately, we'll miss out. That's why so many of us end up buying things that we don't actually need, just because they're on sale.
Yes, and it's not just FOMO. There's also the pressure of wanting to match or exceed last year's festivities. We want to give better gifts, host bigger parties, and create unforgettable moments. But here's the truth, you don't need to spend a fortune to have a meaningful, memorable holiday season. So the first tip we would like to give you is find out why you're feeling the urge to splurge and possibly overspend. Once you recognize what's driving your spending, it's much easier to control it. It is simple psychology.
So how do we avoid the dreaded January bank account blues? Well, the first step is to set a realistic budget. This is non-negotiable. And no, I'm not talking about a vague budget in your head. I'm talking about sitting down, pulling out a spreadsheet, or using a money management app like 24/7 and figuring out exactly how much you can afford to spend.
Yes, and here's another tip. Divide your budget into 3 categories. The first one being Black Friday and Cyber Monday, Christmas gifts the second, and holiday expenses. That way you can allocate specific amounts for each. For example, set aside a portion for Black Friday deals, but also save enough for your Christmas shopping and the holiday price, especially if you're hosting. You don't want to blow all of your money on Black Friday only to realize you've got nothing left for the actual festive season.
Exactly. And don't forget about the little expenses that add up. We often overlook things like wrapping paper, decorations, or even the cost of traveling to visit family. Include these in your budget so you don't get caught off guard. The key is to be honest with yourself. How much can you realistically spend without going into debt? I usually keep gift bags and reuse them. And you can also use newspaper for gift wrapping and just add a lovely ribbon. If used creatively, it can look real pretty.
And for those who use credit cards, here is a big one. Don't rely on credit to fund your holidays. Just don't. Interest rates are no joke, especially in South Africa, where credit card debt can quickly spiral out of control. If you cannot afford something with cash, rethink whether you really need it, which brings us to our next point.
Well, one of the easiest ways to stick to your budget is to create a wish list. It's like your festive season survival guide. List everything you're planning to buy, from gifts to groceries. Then ask yourself, do I really need this? This will help you to stay focused on what's important rather than getting caught up in impulsive spending.
Absolutely. And when it comes to gifts, be mindful. We often think we need to buy something extravagant to show we care. But some of the most meaningful gifts are the ones that don't cost a fortune. It could be a handwritten note, a homemade treat, or an experience like a day out together.
I love that. It's all about making memories, right? Whether it's a weekend getaway into the winelands or camping or a family outing to the beach. These are the things people will remember far more than the latest gadget. So why not gift an experience instead of material things this year? This could be as simple as a well-prepared hike with a homemade picnic.
Another big issue during this time of year is panic buying. You know how it goes. December 23rd rolls around and suddenly you realize you forgot to buy gifts for a few people. What do? You rush to the mall, you grab the first thing you see and end up overspending. Does this sound familiar?
Oh yes, we've all been there. I remember.
Really? This has happened to you?
Yes, plenty of times in Germany.
Oh my God.
But I've learned my lesson and it is very much avoidable actually.
Well done, Alex.
The key is to start your shopping early. This gives you time to think carefully about each purchase, compare prices and avoid last-minute panic. Plus, by spreading out your shopping over a few weeks, you can also spread out the cost, making it easier on your wallet.
Emotional spending is another trap we often fall into. We feel the need to compensate for something, whether it's guilt, stress, or the desire to make up for lost time. But buying things isn't going to solve those problems. Instead, focus on the quality time you can spend with your loved ones. That's what the holiday season is really about.
Here's another great tip, one of my personal favorites, comparing prices. These days, it is so easy to compare prices across different stores online. Don't just buy something because it's on sale at the first place you check. Whether it's Takealot, Amazon, Macro, or any other local store, do your research. You'll be surprised how much you can save just by taking a little extra time to shop around.
And speaking of local stores, shopping local is not only great for your community, but it's often more affordable. Many local markets and small businesses offer unique handmade items that are perfect for Christmas gifts. Plus, you are supporting South African entrepreneurs, which is something we should all be doing, especially in these tough economic times.
Absolutely. And while big retailers may dominate Black Friday, don't forget about local businesses. They often have great deals too, and by supporting them, you're keeping the money in the local economy.
Now let's talk about credit. We touched on it earlier already. Credit cards can be a useful tool if used correctly, but they can also be dangerous during the festive season. It's so easy to swipe now and worry later, but come January, you'll have to pay for all those swipes plus interest.
Exactly. Don't use credit cards. Just don't. Rather rock up empty-handed at Christmas. While it's not the nicest feeling to do so, most adults will understand if times are tough. A little heads up to the rest of the family might be nice, so there's no disappointment, But being empty-handed in December means you will still have more now and in future than buying things on credit and having debt in January.
I love that, Alex. I really do. And also be cautious about using store credit. Many retailers offer interest-free credit for a few months, but if you don't pay it off in time, the interest can be brutal. Stick to cash and your debit card whenever possible. If you can't afford something upfront, ask yourself if you really need it.
Time for our favorite part of this podcast, the 12 Days of Christmas Spending Challenge. Think of it as a financial advent calendar, but instead of chocolates, you're gifting yourself financial peace of mind. This is a practical way to stay on track with your holiday spendings with no January financial hangover. Let's walk through what each day's challenge could look like.
Start day 1 by revisiting your budget. This should be a no-brainer, but many people skip this step. Sit down and map out how much you have available for Christmas shopping, travel, food, and other festive expenses. Don't just guess. Check your bank account and make an actual list. Use apps or a simple Excel spreadsheet to keep everything organized. You will have a clear idea of how much you can realistically spend, avoiding going overboard.
On day 2, your task is to compile a list of people you genuinely want to give a Christmas gift to. Focus on those who truly matter to you and avoid adding anyone simply out of obligation, like extended family or colleagues who have given you gifts in the past. Remember, giving should come from the heart and never feel like an obligation to reciprocate. A heartfelt handwritten card or a homemade gift can be just as meaningful as a store-bought item, and it's a wonderful way to express your gratitude without feeling pressured. For large groups of friends or family, try Secret Santa, where each person buys only one gift for another one within a set budget.
Now that you know your budget and the number of gifts, day 3 is all about setting a spending limit for each person. Don't feel guilty about sticking to it. If you are shopping for a larger family, consider buying group gifts. For example, a family board game or a picnic basket can be shared by everyone. This will help avoid the impulse to overspend on flashy, unnecessary things.
Before making any big purchases, do your research on day 4. Compare prices online and check multiple stores. Use price comparison tools like Price Check or even store apps like Takealot or Macro. Some retailers inflate prices just before the holidays to make the discounts seem larger, so make sure that the sale is actually a good deal. This way, you'll save money by getting the best possible price without falling for the marketing tricks.
On day 5, it's time to make room for new items and maybe even make some extra cash. Go through your house and sell items you no longer need or use. Whether it's old clothes, books, or unused electronics, this can be a great way to boost your holiday budget. Use platforms like Facebook Marketplace or local flea markets or second-hand stores. Not only will you earn some extra money, but you also will create space, reducing the clutter before the holiday season.
With all the end-of-year busyness, it's tempting to order takeaways. But day 6's challenge is to meal prep instead. Cook at home and bring lunch to work rather than relying on Uber Eats or Mr. D. Use this challenge to plan your festive meals too. If you're hosting a Christmas braai, buy ingredients in bulk and prep in advance to save money and reduce stress later. You'll save significantly over time and avoid last-minute splurges on pricey takeaways.
How have you been spending so far this holiday season? Take day 7 to review your spending habits. Look back on the last week and see if you are on track with your budget. If you're over budget, now's the time to adjust. Maybe cut back on those extra coffee runs or rethink any unnecessary gift you were eyeing. This way, you'll stay accountable and prevent financial surprises later on.
Instead of buying new decorations this year, try a DIY project on day 8. Gather your family or friends and make holiday decorations together. This can be a fun bonding activity with the kids. Use recycled materials like old wrapping paper, newspaper, or even items from nature. Think pine cones and leaves and shells. You can also repurpose last year's decorations. This will save you not only money on decor, but also create meaningful, personalized pieces for your home.
Day 9's challenge is all about creating memories without spending a fortune. Plan a day of free festive activities. Think walks on the beach, a braai at the park, or even a Christmas movie marathon at home. Check out your local community's events. Many towns host free holiday concerts, carols, and markets that you can enjoy without spending much.
Gift wrapping can be surprisingly expensive and is also not particularly eco-friendly, to be honest. So on day 10, the challenge is to wrap your gifts using creative, budget-friendly alternatives. Use brown paper or old newspaper tied with a string. You can decorate them with leaves, stamps, or a handwritten note to make them look extra special.
As you get closer to Christmas, the urge to impulse buys grows stronger. So, on day 11, take a conscious pause before every purchase. Ask yourself, do I really need this? And will this fit into my budget? If you're shopping in store, take a 24-hour break before even making any big decisions. Online, leave items in your cart for a day or two before checking out. Sometimes you even get free shipping this way. This will help you avoid unnecessary splurges and stick to what you've planned.
Finally, on day 12, give back. The festive season is all about generosity, but that doesn't always mean material gifts. Consider donating time, money, or unused items to those who need them most. There are many ways to give back in South Africa. Consider donating to a local charity, even maybe donating blood, giving old clothes or toys to an orphanage, or helping someone in your own community. That is the true spirit of the festive season, and it'll remind you that the holidays are more than just about spending.
And there you have it, the 12 days of Christmas spending challenge. Each of these small steps can make a big difference, helping you to stay mindful and in control of your festive spending.
Remember, the goal isn't to deprive yourself. It's to make sure that you're enjoying the holiday season without creating financial stress for the next year. By sticking to this guide, you'll find yourself heading into January in a much stronger position.
Exactly. It's all about making smart decisions now so that your future self will thank you later. So let's challenge ourselves to take control of our spending and make this festive season one to remember for all the right reasons.
We'd love to hear from you how you get on with the 12-day challenge, so reach out to us and let us know. And don't forget, if you're looking for more tips on how to manage your money and create smart spending habits, we've got tons of advice waiting for you in our courses. We can help you make the most of your finances without the stress.
Thank you for tuning in, Money Magnets. We hope these tips help you navigate the shopping season with confidence. So until next time, happy shopping. May your spending be smart and stress-free.
Happy holidays, Money Magnets!